G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors to episode 268 are open. Today on the show, Josh and I, we've been at Adelaide's Comic and Toy Fair. We're keen to talk about all the money we spent there on video game stuff, which is always fun. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. Been saving my pennies, and I came away with a bit of a bag. And of course, like I mentioned, talk all about that is my good friend Josh, or JT if you like. Man, how you been?
Drew, I'm very good, mate. More than a bag, though, I reckon. You're slightly underselling how much you bought this weekend. Super good to have you come along with me and check it out, because I've always talked about it. I've always mentioned it. Every 6 months we have it in Adelaide, so finally, getting the chance for you to tag along and see what it's like. And you went pretty ham, so I'm pretty keen to go over all of it. We went over it just us two yesterday, but to share it with everyone here on the show, be good. Looking forward to it.
Me too. A little bit nervous, It's just like to really reflect on it and looking at all the items that I got. I'm like, man, it was fun while I was doing it, but it was pretty costly. I didn't have to take it out the mortgage though. I did set it aside for the last few months though. So don't worry, Lucas is gonna eat. Don't worry over the next week.
You did a budget. You've done it. You're fine. No guilt here.
Yeah, no guilt. A little bit, not much. Yep. But yeah, really keen to talk about that. But I guess before we dive into it too much, I would love just to talk about how you been over the last week. It's not like usual. Usually there's like a week in between talking on the podcast or a few text messages here or there. But no, we actually had a good catch up yesterday. So I guess it's just like about what games you've been playing before then, if you've been able to fit any in. For me, it's not too much, but I am keen to talk about a certain, I guess, app that came out on iOS. That's something that I've actually been dabbling in over the last week or so, and I've got something to say about that. But before that, Josh, anything you'd like to talk about game-wise?
Yeah, I suppose my Switch has been gathering dust this week because I've been playing Hollow Knight, continuing that on my PS5, and so...
Oh, I didn't know you were playing on PS5. There you go, because we were talking about it, but yeah, okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
I have I got PlayStation Plus, and it's just on there. So
yeah,
instead of, I know Hollow Knight's like a cheap game anyway. It's like $18 or something like that in Australia, and it's on sale now, I think, so it's even less. But I paid for the service already a year in advance, and I'm gonna utilize that. So yeah, I've been playing on the PS5, which has been pretty cool. I every now and then I venture back to my PlayStation 5 and play some games, but I don't know. I don't mind this little break I'm having from my Switch at the moment. Because it, when something cool does come in a couple of weeks, I'll be, fondly remembering what I do like about the Switch. But every now and then it's a bit healthy to sort of venture away. But about 12 hours into Hollow Knight now, I've done half of the I forget, it's like the subway network. I forget the name of the bug service thing, but I've gotten to the main city now. I've done like a lot of the big landmark things so far. Enjoying it, really enjoying it. But it's now getting like I can see what the inspiration in a way, like the Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown was this game, because this game has a bit of platforming as well, because you get like the dash, which is fine, but then you get the wall jump, and I feel after the wall jump it really opens up a bit more platforming that you get to do and go around and sort of testing your sort of your gaming skills a bit more with some things. Definitely doesn't go to the lengths that Prince of Persia does, but it's I get those essences, I suppose. I'm playing them in the wrong order in the way that they came out, but I enjoying that. It's not as full into it as Prince of Persia is, but man, this game's just so beautiful. It is so easy to pick up. I get a little lost in terms of where to go, so I've done a little bit of like backtracking and trying to work out where things are at, but that just means I can just get more geo, I get more charms, I can sort of upgrade some other things, so and it never feels like I'm wasting time properly. So that's good, man. I'm having a good time. There's lots to do, lots to uncover, and yeah, just a nice little backlog item for me to sort of get around to that I've always wanted to, but you're finally doing it now.
Yeah, it's one of those games where if people know you, they was, oh yeah, no, Josh would love Hollow Knight. And before you sort of got back into it this time, your answer might have been very different. Like, oh no, I didn't really get its hooks into me. But it's cool that it's getting its hooks into you now. I would like to.
Oh, for sure.
I would like for it to get its hooks into me, but I don't know.
I don't know.
It
I
did
feel, yeah,
all those years ago, but
it's such a common thing though. I just like there's people I've spoken to. Is either they've gotten into it straight away or they just haven't. It's like it's pretty like divisive, like yes or no. And so I think it's just one of those games where you're either into it straight away or you're not. And then luckily I wasn't at first, but then I've just decided to give it another go, and it's sort of switched for me. But it's not like easy straight away. Like there's no map. It doesn't really hold your hand in a way, and like some of the things you take for granted in, especially in a Metroidvania, aren't like always there straight away for you. And like you need a charm just so that when you have the map and eventually upgrade it, you can see yourself on it and where you are located. Like that's a perk they deem in this game. It's like a default thing, like every other Metroidvania pretty well is. And so um it makes you uncomfortable, this game, at times. Like you go into a new area, you don't have the map straight away, and like the whole anxiety is like, I need to find a bench, or I need to find the like the person making the maps, because if I die, I don't really know where I'm gonna, like, where I was. They're like, it's gonna be hard to get back there. Like, what if I get lost? Blah blah blah. And so um yeah, there's no hand holding with this game. And yeah, I think that's why a lot of people who really like these types of games really sort of gel with it. So I'm starting to see a lot of that now. But yeah, it's yeah. There's some hard boss battles as well. You don't do the whole like, okay, I've died 15 times trying to work out a pattern recognition kind of thing, and you're going through all of it, and um, gets frustrating sometimes. But you know what to do in the end. It's just pattern recognition. So but it's been good. Yeah, it's gelling finally for me. After all these years, and as someone who's liked Metroidvanias for ages now, just one of those ones I had to do, probably. I
yeah,
had to
awesome.
yeah, get it done.
When you
Yeah.
when you first tried it, were you as into Metroid and Castlevania? Were you sort of on that road to being like a Metroidvania nut at the time, or were you sort of getting more into it? Because that could be a big reason why you weren't so into it, because you just weren't as familiar or excited about the genre.
I think that's partly to do with it, and I think that's me playing those other games since, and like the more you play, the more of an understanding you have of how the games effectively work, I suppose. And you going around, and you find an item, so this thing will help you in this area, and things like that. So I think that probably is part of the reasoning. I think coming straight from Prince of Persia has helped. I just think just
Mm.
the similarities in this game as well. They're quite you know like there is a bit to it. And so yeah, I think just having come fresh from that, I know what I'm doing somewhat. And yeah, I think that definitely helped.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a
Yeah.
interesting thought. You can use like Prince of
Mm,
Persia: The Lost Crown, all of the sort of the features that you can turn on. You can turn in the difficulty. You can
mm,
turn on skipping platforming. You can do all these different things. They can be your training wheels. You can finish that game. You can play as much as you want. You can 100% do it, whatever. But then, sort of like starting right onto Hollow Knight to continue on, where it's like you don't have these, I guess, niceties or these things that are going to help you in Hollow Knight, but it's kind of like the training wheels are off when you play that.
mm.
So that could be like an
Oh,
interesting
100%.
thing for me to even go back and try it after enjoying the Lost Crown and everything that game had to offer, and just dive. Maybe not Hollow Knight, maybe something like just like a Metroid game or Castlevania game
Yeah.
for me. I'd have to go to Hollow Knight, but yeah, that could be sort of Prince of Persia could actually end up being a really important game for that whole genre, just actually getting people into it.
Oh,
Just
100%. Yeah,
yeah,
correct. Yeah, and just yeah, I I'm still amazed by the amount of options that game has, and no other Metroidvania it can really stack up to it. So in terms of just how accessible it is, and how easy it can be if you want it to be, or how hard on the other end of it if you really want no help along the way. So yeah, that's a pretty important game for the genre.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Any other games you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so. I've been yeah, nothing else really. And waiting for Endless Ocean, I suppose, on my Switch. Uh, just yeah, that's about it. Nothing new since we talked last week.
Yeah.
How about
cool.
you?
Well, for one thing, and Wacko Jacko, he can leave that 1-star review. I didn't get to side order. I thought I would at least turn it on in the title screen just so I can take a photo and send it to him. Like, yeah, I at least turned it on, but I didn't even do that.
And I nearly texted you today to remind you, just hey, just start it. Just literally, like, all we said was start it. So just
yeah.
Oh well, Drew.
That's all I had to do over 7 days.
That's all
Start
you had
the game.
to do.
Yeah,
The bar was low, and you still
the bar was. All I had to do was step over it. She was underground, and I didn't even do that. So
you couldn't even do that, mate.
I'll try. I'll try better next time.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Drew. That's all.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm disappointed too. Honestly, I thought I'd have more time over the weekend to game. I thought I'd get to Adelaide and have some gaming time like the night before the toy fair, but I didn't end up playing anything. I brought my Steam Deck, Switch. I bought a few things I ended up touching nothing. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But that sort of leads into what I want to talk about just this week, is that we talked about it a week or so ago that emulation is now available on the iOS App Store. And I know this is nothing new to you, Josh, or anybody with an Android phone. And even this weekend at the Toy Fair, like, I overheard conversations like, "Oh, have you tried the Game Boy games on your phone?" Like, I heard a few conversations, and it sounds cringe. It sounds even cringe to me, because it's just like, it's one of those things that Apple's locked down and you haven't been able to access for until now, and they're opening it up because the EU has basically made it so other alternative app stores can now be available on the iPhone. So I think Apple, the idea behind this is that they've lowered the walls a little bit. So if you do want emulators and these things that a lot of people would be interested in, you're not going to go and download the alt store or other alternatives, and you will stay within the app store. That's the idea.
Okay.
So we have seen a few emulators on iOS. One got removed straight away because it was stolen and it had ads, and it just wasn't all that good. But a second one popped up straight away, or almost straight away afterwards, called Delta, and it emulates basically everything from Super Nintendo throughout all the handhelds to like Nintendo 64 and DS as far as handhelds go. So you can play a lot of stuff on it. And I downloaded it. I honestly had no interest because I have a Steam Deck and I've got my DS set up, so I can literally just download games to it. My 3DS, same thing. So I've got ways to play these games. But I downloaded it and just downloaded a ROM of Pokemon Emerald. Just why not? Give it a go. And I found myself, like, at lunchtime, instead of going to social media or whatever, just flicking through, I booted up the app and I was playing through a bit of Emerald. And then I was at the takeaway shop, and I sat down and I got out Emerald, and I sort of noticed that I don't always have my Steam Deck or Switch or Analog Pocket or these devices on me, but you always have your phone on you. And I actually carved out a fair bit of time just playing through Emerald again, even though I beat it like the week before. But I got up to the second gym just through, just free time, just getting out my phone and while I'm waiting or at lunch or whatever. And it sort of made me think, like, this is a great way to fit in more games, even when I don't have to, even when, like, you have your Switch or something with you, like, if I'm at work, I guess I might draw attention or whatever to you, whereas it's not necessarily all that important. But it made me think like, all right, I'm actually going to use it more often. So I've downloaded a few games. I've got some actually like native games ready to go. Got Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. I bought this a fair while ago, but it wasn't aligned with what the PlayStation and Switch versions had. It didn't have controller support on iOS at all. It didn't have any of the options where you're actually able to up your currency and experience and, I guess almost like cheat the game in some ways. It didn't have that, but eventually the Steam and iOS versions actually got that. So it's pretty much the same as what you get on Switch and PlayStation. So cool. Well, I'm keen to give that a go, and I'm just kind of impressed with it. And like I said, it's nothing new to anybody with an Android phone. I know you've played like through Mother, and you've been enjoying that. But as somebody who enjoys the iOS side of things, it's nice to have that option finally, and hopefully it doesn't get taken away from us too soon. Because was it like 10 years ago on my iPad, I had to go through a lot of work to get Game Boy Advance games working on my iPad. So it'll be very nice playing on it. It's just, it feels better than I thought it would actually, just like holding your phone like a Game Boy. And even though the controls are touch controls, I wouldn't play Mario or anything like that on it, but for Pokemon and some RPGs, it's actually works great. And I've got plenty of
add
Xbox
like peripherals to the side of it to make it like like a bone kind of deal.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You can do that too, can't you?
After sort of enjoying playing like these games on my phone, I was like, oh, I'll look into a Backbone. Backbones are like a controller that you can spread apart and put your phone in and connect that way. So it basically just looks like a handheld device at that point. But they're like $180. That's to the point where it's like you can buy a handheld.
That's a lot.
Your own handheld for that.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's not really an option for me. But I've got plenty of Xbox controllers and PlayStation controllers. So I'm just going to use one and just make it the phone controller. I've ordered a phone mount off of Amazon. So that just clamps the phone, and you just hold the controller and it just basically just floats above your controller. So yeah, I'm keen to just fill in some time with some Game Boy Advance games and some RPGs, which would be a lot of fun. I was looking into like the Netflix games available on your phone as well. The latest game that came out through Netflix on Android and iOS was Hades. Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah, Hades is on there. There's so
just
many
for the standard Netflix subscription.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to be an advertisement for Netflix, but if you don't mind playing on your phone or iPad or Android tablet or whatever you have, there are some of the best indie games in the industry available through Netflix, like Dead Cells, Hades. I'm thinking of the one with the crow. I don't know why I've forgotten it. It's frustrating me. But then there's Oxenfree 1 and 2 because they're owned by Netflix now. So yeah, just like a bunch of good stuff on there. Let alone if you want to. Then there's Apple Arcade on the Android side of things too, which is pretty cool. Because that's got my attention recently as well, because the most recent Indie World presentation, one of the games that actually caught my eye the most was that Ninja Turtles game, a roguelike game where you can play. Yeah, I'm like, that game looks awesome, but it's been on Apple Arcade for 4 years. It's been there forever. I'm like, oh, I probably literally downloaded it at some point and didn't really look into it. But it sort of goes to show just it's important who's sharing the message. If it's Nintendo being like, hey, check out this Ninja Turtles game. Oh, that looks pretty cool. But if it's Apple, it's like, it's just a phone game. Don't worry about that. But
yeah, I thought it was brand new. I didn't know it was a 4-year-old game. There you go. I mean,
I didn't know either.
People might be like that. They might think it's brand new.
I honestly thought it was too. I was listening to like a Kind of Funny Games Daily, and they were like, this game just came out of nowhere. Like, they had no idea, like, oh, this is a nice surprise. But then people in the chat must have clarified, like, bro, this game's been out for a long time. It's just been on a platform that no one's really paying attention to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of unfortunate. I think like the Apple Arcade is actually it was good value. I see that it's gone up to like $9.99, so that's probably pushing it, in my opinion, for like that subscription service. But yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
you're
frustrating.
saying it's on Android, Apple Arcade, if you're a Netflix user.
Oh no, so they're two separate services. Sorry, so yeah, obviously
Yeah.
Netflix is Netflix, and Apple Arcade is something Apple's got. That's just on
Okay. I thought you were
their
saying it was on
devices.
Netflix through
Yeah, so
okay,
yeah, sorry.
like another way.
This Ninja Turtles game is Apple Arcade, but Shredder's Revenge actually is through Netflix as well. That
Okay.
game that
Yeah.
came out
Yeah.
a
The
couple
one
of
from
years
last
ago.
year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, bunch of great stuff on there. It's
That's
just
awesome.
yeah, unfortunately, just no one really cares because it's it's on your phone, which is fair enough, I guess, in some ways. But if you have like a tablet or something and you stand it up and you just use a controller, that's I think that's a really actually convenient and good way to play with an excellent screen and all of
Oh, that's
that.
right.
It's just put it in
But on your
do
web
not
browser,
disturb and yeah,
on your PC, do
absolutely.
they work on that?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just app based. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
download the app, um, like the game app, and then you just log
Yeah.
in your
And log
Netflix and it
in.
lets you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
So
That's cool.
yeah,
But
I went through this
yeah.
sort of mood before where I was like, I'll play on my phone, but it didn't really turn out. But I think just with like RPGs and stuff, I think it actually let me get through some a little bit more. So just tonight actually, I started Advance Wars. Keen to play through that.
Nice.
I want to play. I
Very
want to
good.
play the Game Boy Advance version because honestly, I don't like. I guess like
It
the
looks
3D
better.
models
Yeah.
instead of the pixel art. I definitely prefer the pixel art, and um, I think in some
They're
ways,
not that
I'm
different.
nostalgic for. They're not that different.
No, not really. And I think you'll enjoy the pixel based stuff more. So yeah, I'd recommend for you to definitely play it through that way.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking about. It's just like the quality of life stuff. Did they change much quality of life from obviously the original version to the Switch version that came out last year? I'm not quite sure,
Yeah,
but
there's like a fast forward mode as well. I think outside of that though, like some extra voice acting, I believe, but that's about it really in terms of what you'd be after.
okay.
And you say updated graphics, but I was the same as you. I didn't like the look of it. I think it's a great game, a great bundle, and I loved it. But yeah, I think it could have looked better. And
Yeah,
compared to what GBA pixel art is, that's you know hard to compete.
yeah, it's timeless. I guess I'm from we're both from that era where we were like little babies when we were playing those games. So
Loved
it's
it.
always
Yeah,
it's got that special place in our hearts. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm keen to I guess play more on my phone and make more time. I don't know. I've got all these handhelds, but then it's like I'm going to play on my phone. Seems a little bit silly in some ways, but I
Oh,
don't
you,
always
you know.
have the analog pocket in my pocket. I don't always have a Switch in my pocket. Um,
No, it's a bit
yeah.
hard to move
So
around portably. And if you're waiting for something at a takeaway store, yeah, it makes sense to game on your phone. It's the ultimate portable device, really. So um, playing games on it, that's it's nothing wrong with that. It's a practical way to do it for a lot of people, I feel. And whatever you can do to sort of enhance that experience, then go for it.
that's why when last year when um, I guess with the iPhone was it 15 Pro and where you can like plug it into like just USB C and it pops up on your TV and you can play stuff like Resident Evil and Death Stranding and stuff just natively on the phone. Then you can just pick up a controller. Honestly, like if Apple or I don't know Samsung or anyone actually like nails that down and actually does like a nice experience where you can just switch like the Switch and then pick it up and take it with you when it is your phone and all that. I know a lot of people don't like those worlds sort of crossing over, like your email popping up when you're trying to enjoy a
Yeah,
game or whatever, which is fair enough. But you've got the tools on your phone to be able to shut that off, put do not disturb and stuff on, so it's not like you have to put up with that. I think it would actually like be really great for gamers to actually try and maybe embrace some of that stuff. But then you got all the stuff like your libraries. You don't really want to have like your whole gaming library just through like the the Google store or whatever. It
Mm.
becomes complicated like that. But with streaming, especially coming into play over the next decade or so, when it actually gets good, it's going to be a massive thing for that too. Just the convenience is
Yeah.
it's exciting to think about, and it's worrying to think about what's going to happen to physical media along the way and all that. But exciting times for trying to fit in some gaming.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and especially in Australia, they need to get the internet right and down packed for that sort of stuff. So, yep. Hopefully, not too far away.
Not too far away. But you know what is far away? Next
What?
Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair, Josh. So 6 months away, pretty much from now. I won't be going to the next one. I can only afford one a year at the rate I'm going. But man,
You say that now.
Yeah, do
I'll
say
see you
that
there.
now. I'll be
You will
I'll
be
sell a
there.
kidney and I'll be at the next one. No, I won't be the next one. It's October, so it will be like you said. I think it's like the week or so before PAX. Oh, yeah, I can't go to Adelaide and leave Chantel with two kids 2 weekends in a row. That is not a good decision. So yeah, got to pick my poison. I'll pick PAX for that month. But you've got way more experience when it comes to this, Josh. The Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair. You're the one who told me about it and sort of showed me and got me hooked on the dopamine drug, going around getting everything. So I guess just for people on the other side of the world or even here in Australia, what is the Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair and how did you find out about it and start going to it?
Yeah. So yeah, this is an event that happens in Adelaide, South Australia, twice a year. So every 6 months, typically the weekend during Anzac Day for us in Australia, or the weekend before that. And then it happens 6 months later in October. Usually on there's another long weekend that lines up nicely with it. So all it is just it's in a really nicely recently done up basketball recreation center. So it's like 2, 3 basketball courts. And there must be more than that, but it's like a huge indoor area where there's stalls of sellers, and so these sellers can be actual stores or actual wholesale sellers. Like just them trying to sell some things. They've got a store presence, but then maybe they want to sell at this event as well. But you also get people who just want to buy a table and sell their stuff that they have themselves. So you get lots of independent sellers, people who, for a living will buy some stuff, source it for pretty cheap, and then they'll make it available and try to get your hard-earned bucks and make some sales. And so, um, yeah, all in the title, it's like it's not just video games for us, but it's comic books, other sort of kids' toys, uh, racing cars, all sorts of like Lego. There was a whole bunch of different things at the event, and so it's one of those things that's just grown in Adelaide. I think in the last 10 years, it's quite big now, and I would say it's the one that a lot of people look forward to. There's another one in June called the Mega Toy Fair, which I think's been around for longer, but maybe doesn't quite have as much prestige as this new one does, the Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair. So, really big event. It gets a big turnout. Like, there were so many people. Like, you can probably attest to that, Drew. You probably were expecting a certain amount, but there was just the lines went out the door, and so when the early bird tickets come on sale, you buy it straight away. And yeah, you sort of get ready for a big day because there's a lot on offer, and there's a lot to sort of work through when you're walking around to try and find the things that you're after. Because there's some obvious stalls to go to that Drew and I went to, but then there's some other places you sort of that don't look like they're selling video games. There's some things that you can sort of find within, like the diamond within the rough, I suppose, so to speak.
Found a few diamonds there, mate. Found
Oh,
a
you
few
did.
diamonds. Like a
You did.
pig looking for a truffle. That was me on the weekend. Just getting through like, oh look, a Wii game. Oh, you take $5. Just say it.
We
Move
kept
on.
getting lost because I I was going too slowly at times, and Drew needed. I've done this aisle. I'm going to go over here. Like, I'll catch up with you later. I'm like, okay. Like, we'll reconvene at a later date. And so, um, yeah, it was pretty funny because you sort of I get what you mean. You kind of find the things you're looking for. You get on a scent, and you kind of go for it. So, what was like? Did it meet your initial expectations when you went into this place? 'Cause I have hyped it up a bit.
Uh, it was pretty much exactly what it was, what I thought it was, because
Oh, okay.
I literally like went onto YouTube and searched it, and I found
Yeah.
people doing vlogs and all of that. So I saw what it was previous years, and even to the point where I was watching a vlog from like 2018 where it was in a different venue, and I was looking at the prices of some of this stuff. There was a like in-box Donkey Kong Conga drum set with the game for $50 in box. I'm like, whew, that in 2018. So my gosh, that would have been quite nice to have. I think I lost Josh. We've lost Josh. Josh, come back. Look, he's about to scratch your shoulder or something like that. He's just a blur. Here we go. We'll make him full screen. Oh, he's gone. Well, look at that, everybody. It's been a while since I've got to do a solo podcast. I'm just gonna sit here, look at the emptiness. But while we wait for him to come back, got it. I literally got like a bag's worth of stuff. The camera's gonna. I've got like the green screen trying to. You can sort of see the outline of it though, which is funny. But got a bunch of stuff which I'm very excited to show off. I'll probably do like a separate video of it at some point. But got a bunch of stuff here which I'm keen to get into. So what Josh has done here? What's he done? This silly little bugger. Has he knocked it? Has his internet passed out? What's going on? He's just going off the. I'm trying to come back in. I don't mind, mate. It's just editing, Drew. You've got to apologise to. This is live, Drew. Live, Drew doesn't really care. It's just editing, Drew. He's got to chop where you left and got to work out a bit to come back to. We'll be all right. Trying to come back in. Sorry. All good. I wonder what happened. Here's me with like my internet that can barely connect to the cloud. And the man in the city with the rigid internet. No good. God, I bought so much shit. I'll just upload this as the podcast. Dun, dun, dun. I wonder if I might just pop out until he comes back. We'll be back in a jiffy.
Hello.
And we're back.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're all
So
good.
sorry.
What happened?
So I had this issue at work today. My internet has just been a shit show today, and it caused issues at work all day. It just wasn't working, cutting in and out. And then the my work's infrastructure for online working from home wasn't working either, and so it was just like everything at once, just all happening. So, um, done a quick reset now and made sure everything's securely connected. So hopefully it's all good now. But yeah, not good. I apologize.
No, all good. But I gotta say, Josh, like I'm the one in the country. I'm meant to have the spotty, shitty internet. You're in the city.
Yeah,
You should be
yeah.
uploading like you should be the one just uploading every episode of The Simpsons for us, or the pirate, just on the torrent. You should be like the one we
Oh,
seed
I
from.
yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Our NBN um has not been installed at our new place, and there's been some issues with it. So we've had to find like a mobile modem um, solution in the meantime. And so it's good when it's good, but when it like cuts out, it cuts out, and it's annoying. And so I've been trying to push for the MBN solution to hurry up, and for some reason, it's just like there was something wrong with the build that the connection just couldn't be done straight away. So just all those little things that that come with buying a house that you don't really expect that should work, but they don't. So totally agree. It should work, but it's not.
Well, at least it's not the toilet overflowing or something. It's just the internet.
Yeah, correct. We'll get there. Wonderful when you do podcasts and you have guests on the other side of the world. Because it does happen every now and then. That's probably why I don't do live stuff. So I
Yeah,
can always
that's
fix
the
it in
yeah.
post, and yeah, so people don't realize it as much when they're listening.
Yeah. Well, no one's noticed. Everyone's asleep at the wheel anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Where were we?
All right.
We were talking about
That's all right. I'll do a
5 years
cut
ago.
back for me to cut
Your
back
experience with
into.
it.
Yeah, I'll do a cut back for when we when I edit the audio. Just like all right, we're back after a bit of a technical difficulty, but yeah, Josh, I think it did meet my expectations because I just looked up so many videos, and I was actually like, but yeah, I watched a fair few years worth of what's been happening there from a bunch of creators in Adelaide. So it met my expectations, and it sort of exceeded my expectations in some ways. When it in other ways, I was, I guess, just a little bit disappointed. Just with certain platforms, I was hoping to get a lot of games for, which just I didn't really find anything in the particular flavor I was after. But it is what it is. So I guess should we show off what we picked up? Just like take turns talking about some of the stuff we picked up and all that. I won't go through
that
like
sounds
all
good.
of my stuff, especially the Xbox stuff, but the Nintendo stuff I reckon I can definitely touch on. I might actually do like a separate video and just go over like my pickups. I think that'll be fun. So if anybody's interested in that and actually like seeing it a bit more like visually, instead of me showing it off in front of like this green screen, more than happy to do that. But
Awesome.
I guess I'll start first because I guess I just got more stuff. But picked up these game, I guess, protectors. So this is like a new product. This isn't like retro or anything like that. But I've had my childhood like boxes of was it sapphire, emerald, fire red, and they've just been like sitting there, and getting a little bit nervous in case I accidentally crushed them or something like that. It's been well, for Fire Red, it's 20 years this year. It came out in 2004. So it's a 20-year-old box. We got it this far. I don't want it squashed or, the kids getting into it or anything like that. So picked up these protectors, and I got to say, once you put them in there, they look so clean and good. Like, they look so good. And I just want to display them. I understand why people pay so much money for boxes, especially if they got like, a display or something like that. Because I got to admit, after having like sapphire and emerald in these like protectors, I'm like, oh, I should like hunt down. I should try and get a ruby box. But like that in box is like roughly $400 to $500. So like, that's expensive cardboard. But I think if I ever get anything boxed and I spend a lot of money on it, it will be ruby and leaf green. They're the ones I'm missing because I got the cartridges when I was a kid. I bought them off friends who were, trying to get money for the next thing, and they, didn't want to play the old Pokemon game. So I don't have the boxes, but the games that I had, I kept the boxes for, and I won't be able to show it off that much to you, Josh. But this was like the original Pokemon Sapphire box I got, and it means a lot to me because this is like essentially. This is my first Nintendo. This is my first Nintendo game. This is what started it all for me, and still got the box. It's not like in best condition. If I was selling it, people wouldn't get too excited about it. Like, it is a used and loved box. I had it like in my bedside table, and at nights I'll turn my lamp on when I can't sleep, and I'll get my instruction booklet out and flip through it and all that. It's not like it's never been touched, and it's got like this Target sticker you can see at the top here, which has been just sliced through the top to open it up. So wouldn't get collectors like too excited, but it's very sentimental to me, and I'm glad that it's not going to get any worse anyway. But
that's right.
Also got like the bigger versions for Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Yeah,
because these games, they're very important games to me, but also they're very expensive games now. very, very expensive
and
boxes.
Boys.
They're chunky. So I got this size which has like the actual like width is perfect. It's just the height, just a little bit too high, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
right. They're in there. It's the main thing.
Yeah, because I got Heart Gold originally. I played through that, and then I remember being in Target, and I was like, all right. I think it was like towards like maybe a year or so after, or I can't remember. A while after the games come out. I'm like, all right, it's time to get Soul Silver. Just to have it for the collection, and I bought it kind of begrudgingly. It was like $60 is a lot of money. When you're in school to spend on a game that you kind of already have in some ways. It's just like a different color of it, literally. But I'm so glad that I did because I bought it and I didn't really touch it. I didn't touch the poker walk or anything. I did take the game out and play the game, but the box is just like immaculate. So this is like, it's just nice to have. It's nice to know that it's worth so much, even if I've got no interest in selling it. So yeah.
They're looking good condition too, and that hard acrylic is sturdy. It's not like I've just got the soft plastic stuff, which is something, and as long as you don't step on it, it's not going to do anything bad to it. But yours is pretty well. I feel like if an earthquake or they got knocked down off a shelf, nothing's going to happen to them. They're pretty sturdy in there now.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of a boring thing to talk about and maybe even hear, but for me, like when I got home, I got settled down and saw my wife and all that, but I was actually very excited to slip those boxes into it, just see what they looked like, and they look so good in it. So it might even start another obsession of trying to get some other expensive boxes to complete it. So if anybody has a nice copy of Ruby or Leaf Green, let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know. But Josh, we'll move on to you. What's one of your pickups over the weekend?
Yeah. I for me it's big things. Anything Metroid or Castlevania, and so I got something Castlevania this time. I got an original NES cartridge of Metroid last time, and so I think it's in the very corner. You can see it's there. It's come with the box is a reproduction, not real, not official, but there's an actual NES cartridge of the original Metroid inside of that. And so I'm Nintendania. I love my Metroids. I love my Castlevanias. I had to buy this one. So this is it's an American NES copy of Castlevania on the NES, and so I thought, no, I got to add that to the list. It's going to be a display piece for me on the shelf behind me. I'll have it next to the Metroid there. Some pretty, you know, iconic games in terms of the history of the NES, but also for me, just side of the love affair, I suppose, or the obsession I had with those sort of types of games. And so came in what we discovered, didn't we, Drew, to be the rental cases that some of these NES games come in. And so mine's a clear one with a red Nintendo logo. It's a little bit shiny, but these would have been the cases we got told. If you went to a Blockbuster or a rental place, they would have had these cases that Nintendo would have provided, I think, or something like that along those lines that kept your NES rental cartridge safe and sound. And so yeah, I don't have a actual NES. Anything NES related, I play on NSO because it's just easier and convenient. I do have a NES Classic as well, so this is a bit more of a display piece for me, but it was a pretty decent price, and got to talk to the stall seller, and it was a really nice conversation with Toby was his name, and yeah, no, it was great. So very happy to have that in my collection now.
Have you thought about how you're going to display it? Just out of curiosity, is just going to put it on the shelf or whatever? Because for me, like some of my cartridge games as well, it's like you can get some nice like stands and all of that for it. But I'm sort of thinking about how I'm going to display or even just store some of my stuff.
Yeah, I might. It would just be standing, I think, for now. I have a few things. It's a bit messy, my display bookcase over there, because I've got Amiibo in box everywhere, and they're sort of in front of things because I got my Switch collection, and then my GameCube collection is there with some 64 stuff, but Amiibo are blocking it, and then the Wii U's down there as well. So I need to probably rejig it a bit. I've got too many boxes of Amiibo taking up space and room. So I'll work something out. I'd like to have the Metroid and the Castlevania game next to each other because I think that feels right. That feels right to me anyway. At the very least, standing up.
Yeah,
they're friends. I feel.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they're enemies because they'll in competition for your time.
Well,
they're both the same
maybe
genre.
potentially.
Maybe they hate each other. But yeah, that's great. I guess talking about like the NES sort of rental case, I'm going to bring up one of my purchases. Super Mario Brothers 3 on NES. Got the cartridge. Very happy about this. This was my only NES game I bought, and I was hoping to come away with a handful. I was hoping to get like, Kid Icarus, Tetris, some of just like the bigger, more common ones. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, I didn't see like anything like Nintendo wise. They had like a handful at a couple of stores, but they were like the third party games, which I'm happy to play elsewhere. Don't really need a copy necessarily, at least not at this stage anyway. The obsession might grow after I get those. I might just save it. I just want my 10 favorite NES games, but that might grow. But hopefully not. So the only one I was able to pick up was Super Mario Brothers 3, which is a great one. It's obviously probably one or if not the best game on the system. So very happy to pick up this one. So now I've got 3 NES cartridges. I've got the original Mario Brothers, got the third game, as well as the Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt combination cartridge. So that's my little growing collection on the NES.
So you're just missing USA, aren't you? Super Mario USA or Super Mario World 2 for everyone else.
Yeah, I do wonder if I am actually going to get the second game. in some ways, I would like to have just all three. It's as a collection, it's all three of
Yeah,
them together.
makes sense.
But at the same time, if I'm going for my top 10, I actually don't like Super Mario Brothers 2. Like, I actually don't like it. I didn't enjoy it. It it really does
I don't
feel.
blame you.
It really does not feel like a Mario game to me. Like, but don't know. Maybe I'll give it another replay this year and see if I change my mind. But yeah, last year I came away from it actually being like, I really didn't enjoy that. Like, I'd rather play every other Mario game again instead of play that. But I know before I buy a copy, I'll play through it again, see what I think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you. It's it was a different game originally, wasn't it? Before they reskinned it up to make it Super Mario Bros. 2 for us in the West, at least. And so, yeah, I'm the same. I've always struggled to play it. It's up and down sometimes. Yeah, just some of the mechanics are slightly different. There's just something simple about running left to right and picking up them question blocks and platforming like that. So, no, definitely don't blame you at all.
I want to bring up these rental cases as well. So you mentioned you got one of your Castlevania copy. I was only familiar with these, like, honestly, a couple of weeks ago when I got my NES, and it came with those games. And it actually came with clear cases. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, nice little way to keep your your game safe, especially since the game originally just came in cardboard, and a lot of that is gone and all that. But I'm just putting a question out there because I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to like physical stuff when it comes to NES, because I wasn't there. Like, I was still 9 years in the womb when this game came out. So, yeah, I wasn't.
Twink. Yeah.
Yeah, we're little twinks in our parents' eye when like these games were coming out. So like, Nintendo, like, they were against their games being rented out, because if people are renting them, they're not getting bought necessarily. So like, my idea, like, the story about Nintendo going against Blockbuster, and eventually they lost because they had no case. But
yeah,
if that was what was happening, were they making these games specifically for rentals to be able to put them in to rent out? I'm not sure. That is a question I'm putting out to anybody who's like knowledgeable on this in the audience. I'd love to know. Let me know on Twitter or join our Discord. Links in the show notes. But yeah, I am just genuinely curious. Like, all right, so if these are for rentals, it makes sense. Like, put them on the shelf and allows them to go back and forth without being damaged. But I don't see it as something that Nintendo would want. Like, it doesn't seem like they were for the rental system back in the day. Like, it didn't benefit them at all. They didn't get royalties every single time it got rented out.
Unless it was an agreement or they worked out something from that.
Yeah, not sure. Like, yeah, that is just something I'm actually just genuinely interested in, and I might actually look into it. Because, yeah, I didn't know these rental cases existed, to be honest, until, like I said, I actually got an NES. That's what's actually so cool about getting, like, these systems and playing on them physically. Like, we've played NES a lot as far as, I guess, emulation of Virtual Console and now Nintendo Switch Online, but it's just so much different. So many things come to light, I guess, when you actually pick up the original controller and try and plug it into the TV. I was actually, when I got my NES, I was confused. I was like, where do these cables go? Because there's nothing on the back. I'm like, where's it go? It goes in, but I actually look around the system. Oh, it goes in the side. Oh,
yeah.
I felt like my grandma trying to plug it in. I'm like, anyway.
Like no other console that does it, or Nintendo wise anyway, it's always at the back. So, yeah, it's just one of those weird things, isn't it? I was thinking with the rental stuff, like, wasn't like Pokemon Snap on the 64, couldn't you, like
yeah, true,
print your actual copies of the, like, photos you took in the game at like Blockbusters?
There was, yeah.
And they had like a kiosk available, so there must have been, an agreement in the end that like Nintendo would support this and get some sort of money in the instead of extra sales. That they might have seen it could lead to actual sales, because you try the game by renting it, and then you maybe want to buy it yourself because you don't don't have enough time really to finish it in time. Maybe, I don't know. it could have been a beneficial thing for him.
Yeah, you can see, especially back in the day, like that is essentially is like your demo. Like you go and try it, and then you love it so much.
That's
The
right.
kids just going, Dad, I need it for Christmas. Like it goes right up to the top of the Christmas list because they actually got an opportunity to play it. Yeah, that
Yep.
is true. Yeah, yeah. When you bring up the rental, I guess the kiosk in like Blockbuster where you can take in your cartridge, plug it in, and you can actually print it out. But that was Nintendo 64, I guess. So that was a long time after,
A bit later.
obviously the NES.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna find a good documentary YouTube.
Yeah,
for
there'll be
that
one out there. I'm interested too. If you see a good video, link me.
Report on it next week. All right, Josh, what's your next item?
All right, so I got a few amiibo. I'm going to break it into two parts though. And so the first part is just some ones I've missed out previously, and so I see them, and if they're reasonably priced, I pick them up. And so I'm always a bit more mindful now because Nintendo's done a lot of reprints of amiibos, and so um, what I tend to find is the good ones, they go up in value. You pay more than the $22 recommended retail price if you buy them even loose. And especially if they're still in the box, they just go up in price because you can't buy them anymore. And it's just the Nintendo way. It happens. Things just go up when they're not readily available as well. And so I got a Pac-Man loose for a pretty good price. I don't know if they're going to reprint a Pac-Man amiibo anytime soon. So I was happy with the price. I thought I'll add that to the collection. Pretty cool looking one there. And then the other one was Squirtle. I just missed Squirtle. It wasn't too long ago. It was a pretty recent one, I think. When the Squirtle one came out, I just missed it. It was just one of those ones I did not get at the time. This one might be reprinted sometime. I think this one's more likely, but I was just like, it was on the day. I thought, no, I want it now. I'm happy with the price, so I'll go ahead. And so, two extra ones to add to the collection. I'll find a spot from upstairs somewhere on my bookcase because I've got some extra shelving and some more space now. So I'll find a good spot. They'll go next to my Pokemon trainer with Charizard and Ivysaur and Pikachu and Jigglypuff as well. So there'll be a few more Pokemon there to add to the mix.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like those Pokemon Smash Brothers amiibos. They are gorgeous. Like that Squirtle one is awesome. I really like it. So yeah, it's good. If you, how much was the Squirtle one? Just out of curiosity, is that like a valuable one, or was that just like reasonably cheap one?
30 in the end. It was 30, so it was a bit more than it would have been if I bought it with a reprint 22. So a little bit more, but I was happy with it, and I got a bit cheaper because I bought something else, multiple things there. So which will be one of my coming up items as well that I'll talk about.
Yeah, awesome. My next item is I'm just going to bundle this as Nintendo 64 because I got a lot of games. So this is one of the first things that I bought. Like we went to one of the first video game stalls, and a lot of my goal today was to get cartridge games. So NES and Nintendo 64. Not so much Super Nintendo. Don't know. There's nothing on Super Nintendo that I feel like I need at this point. At least at the start, I've got Mario All Stars on SNES, but stuff like Super Mario Kart and stuff I'd like to pick up, but not quite yet. But I picked up 5 Nintendo 64 games, all varying in price. But first one is Mario Kart 64. These are all just very common games. I never had a 64 as a kid. And the only 64 stuff that I actually have ever bought was like just a box Nintendo 64 at a garage sale. And that came with like a couple of games, but nothing like of my favorites. So yeah, I've got Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, which is like a top 3 favorite video game for me, probably. Depending on the day, I'll say that or Mario Galaxy. Deciding between the 3D Marios, I don't know. Got Banjo-Kazooie. I picked up this one. Banjo-Kazooie is not necessarily like one of my favorite games. I've still got to play it. But I think just like, with Bryce, one of my best friends, this is one of his favorite games. I need to play it just for him, just to be a good mate. I have played like a fair bit on Rare Replay on 360, but got a nice copy there. Ocarina of Time, got the gold cartridge, got a bit of scratches and stuff on it, but it's like 30 or 40 years old at this point. How old is it? 30 years old? Well, it came out in 98? No.
Yeah, nearly, not quite, but yeah.
97?
Getting towards it.
Yeah, can't remember. I wasn't there. I wasn't playing games at the time. Don't shoot me. And Donkey Kong 64. Got this because it was reasonably priced to some extent, and it was very clean, and I just liked the look of the nice yellow cartridge. But, I have not played Donkey Kong 64. I have not played it. And it's one of those games where
it will come to NS,
I haven't really had access to it. We've had it on Wii U Virtual Console and Wii Virtual Console, but obviously not on Switch just yet. So I would like to play it, but it's just got like a bad stigma, I guess. Like, out of all those Rare games, this one came towards the end, and they just sort of went balls to the wall, just with all the collectibles and. Yeah, it's like, as an adult, I don't really need a time waster, but I would like to play it just to. I am actually playing, like, there's a few franchises I'm focusing on this year, and I think Donkey Kong's actually one of them. Like, playing through like all of the country games earlier this year. I'm keen to play like the Conga games, like the new play control on Wii, because I don't have the actual bongo. And this might be one of them as well. I won't be doing any more than I have to get to the credits. I won't be like, oh, look, I'm going to get everything. I think I would actually rather just hang myself instead of doing that, I reckon. But not literally, of course. It's hypothetically. But.
No. that cartridge you bought though, Drew, that is immaculate. That looks so good. It seeing it in person, just how shiny and new looking it was. So you had to buy that one. That was a great pickup. I'm waiting for Donkey Kong 64 to come to NSO. I think it will be a fun and handy way to play it with all the collectibles. And there's no rewind feature for the 64 games on NSO, but just to pause it and pick up and leave whenever you need. I think it's helpful for those types of games. So hopefully this year I get to play it, because I'm keen to give it a go properly. It was one of those games as a kid I played a bit on a friend's save file and never properly did it myself. So just quietly keen for it. I need to experience it for myself.
Just an important thing to note for me as well. I don't have an expansion pack, so I will not be playing it anytime soon unless I pick one of them up.
No.
So
were there any on sale? Did you see any? I didn't see any.
I might have saw one or so. I think I remember the price that comes to my head was like $70 or something. Like it was expensive enough not to go, oh yeah, I need one of them to like either play Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64. So like probably not for that. But I did just continue on with Nintendo 64. So they were the English games I got. But I came across a booth that did Japanese games. And I guess the good thing about Japanese games is that they're not expensive like the English versions are, because I don't know if there's so many of them or just they're not desirable once they're over here. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it's probably both of those reasons. But just for an example, so at one booth they had Paper Mario on Nintendo 64, cartridge only, very nice condition, whatever, but it was $300. It's like, look, don't have $300 to spend on a Nintendo 64 cartridge. And also, Paper Mario, I'm honestly going to play it on Switch or something else. Just like, I want it on a portable anyway, because it is, an RPG.
Yeah.
Like, I want to enjoy that in bed or on the go. So, yeah, I'm not going to play it on a original Nintendo 64. So, no point owning it just to look at it. But I got a Japanese copy. And it looks great. It looks really, you won't be able to see it with the camera and all that well. Like I said, I'll do a video showing it off a little bit better, but it looks great. It looks great sort of, in the stack. But I got this for $20. So as far as like, if you just want something to look at, if you want a bit of plastic to look at, A little bit cheaper. So yeah, $20 for that one.
Unreal the
Pokemon
difference.
Stadiums, Pokemon Stadium's in a similar boat. So I got a copy of, I don't even know. I think it's Pokemon Stadium 2. It's got Ho and Lugia on it, but in Japan, yeah, it must, yeah, Pokemon Stadium. I guess it must be the. We were talking about this yesterday, Josh, and you're trying to explain to me what the Pokemon Stadium situation is over there. Basically, what was it like? One here is split on like over there as 1 and 2, and like 2 is basically an
Yep.
enhanced version of like the game that came out before. And 2 for us is also 3 for them with like Generation 2,
Yep.
Ho Lugia, all of that. So yeah, I've got a copy of I guess Pokemon
Yep.
Stadium 3 or 2.5 or whatever the Japan is. So that was $20 as well instead of hundreds for an English copy. Um, Maybe Pokemon Stadium. Honestly, that might be one that I would actually like to play on original Nintendo 64 because I can like use like the transfer pack and put like Pokemon from, I guess if I ever play through red or blue or yellow on original hardware, I can like put it over, but probably not. It's probably not going to happen. It's not like you get anything from doing it necessarily. It's just kind of neat to do, but if I ever
Yep.
decide I want to do that one day, I guess I can hunt it down. But yeah, $20.
Mm.
Got Hey You Pikachu as well. $20. Nice pickup. And last Japanese game was Kirby 64, also $20. So came away with what, 9 Nintendo 64 games? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So
Pretty,
my
pretty
collection went
good.
from pretty much nothing to something.
And you got some good classics there. Like that's some like a pretty good, like nearly a top 10 for you. But outside of some of the other big ones, you've got a really good starting collection there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Nintendo 64 is, I guess, sort of region locked. You can't put Japanese carts in our PAL Nintendo 64s, but if you like take your Nintendo 64 sort of apart, you can unscrew like a bit of plastic where like the cartridge locks into, and then you can replace it with a 3D printed, I guess, bit of plastic you can get online. Screw that in, and then it can sort of take any cartridge from US to PAL to Japanese. So if I really want to play some of these, I can. But I don't know. Paper, yeah. Actually, the all games that actually is would be very hard to play. Like Paper Mario in Japanese, probably not.
That's
Pokemon
not happening.
Stadium, no. Hey You
No.
Pikachu, I don't have all the accessories in that anyway, like the microphone and all that. Kirby, I could. Kirby would be fine.
You can
So
be good. Yep.
yeah,
Yep. That's easy enough to work out without
yeah. I'm like,
any
yeah.
language inputs.
So
Yeah.
there's that. What's your next one, Josh?
Not very good. Very good. All right, so I'll go over the final amiibo I got. I was totally not expecting this one to show up at the toy fair. There's one stall that I go to, and he does a very good job at having loose ones. And so my collection's like mostly loose, and so I don't really care if it's in box or not. Lately, I have been, but this one was one I missed from 2017. It was one of the Metroid amiibo that came alongside Metroid Samus Returns. That was the remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus or Return of Samus. And so I was not into amiibo back then. And so I missed this one. But I saw it. And this is the Samus Aran amiibo. I saw it there at the toy fair yesterday, and I'm like, my eyes lit up, like, oh my god, like not expecting to see this here. I thought, okay, I'm going to ask about the price. I'm expecting, I've seen on eBay listings this complete in box for 150. So I was thinking something close to $190 for a loose one. Might be what I'm gonna have to pay if I want it. And he says $40, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's so much cheaper than what I've seen online. I think I've seen some loose sales for like 70 at the lowest. There's some bids at the moment, but they're low, but they'll go up when the bidding's done. So yeah, I just didn't think I could see this cheaper online. So this guy must have bought this for even cheaper again to be selling it to me for $40. But Yeah, I have one of the two amiibos from yeah, uh, it feels like a big bulky one, and I don't know, it feels like Amiibo Plus for me in terms of detail because I think there's a lot of stuff you can see on the suit and all the different armor joining together, and I think it's such a cool pose. So very happy to have this one. I wasn't expecting to have this one. I have this one in the collection now, and all I'm missing in terms of Metroid amiibo is the actual Metroid one that's very squishy, and you squish the Metroid, and it's a very cool feeling. I believe I've never felt one myself, but I'm imagining what it feels like, and so that's the last one for me. I'm sure I'll get it one day, and I just hopefully they reprint it. Those ones. I'd like to think they would for Metroid, but um, nothing's guaranteed, especially with Nintendo and some of the more niche IPs they have. But that were the three amiibo I picked up: the Squirtle, the Pac-Man, and Samus Aran. So I was pretty happy actually. That was some good ones to add to the collection.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was a great pickup. I was just looking on eBay. There's not many on eBay. I only searched Samus amiibo. I don't know exactly what to search to get that specific
Mm.
amiibo, but
No,
seems
it's
like yeah, I was going through it and I can only like find one, and there's a bid like with 4 days to go. They're only at like $7, but there's still like a lot of time to go.
yeah,
Because I've
it'll
I
go
learned on
up.
eBay that
Yeah,
yeah, I've learned on eBay that everybody bids at the very end, including me.
people snipe.
I thought I was being smart for trying to
Same.
snipe, but everyone else is doing the same thing in the last minute. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, everyone's got the notification. They're waiting for the bid to end, and then they just do the
hmm
max bid at the end there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you could snipe a good little deal there. But yeah, so yeah, you had a pretty successful
Can
toy
do.
fair, really. Got your amiibos, got your
Yeah, I'm always for me at the moment it's Amiibo, anything Metroid slash Castlevania, and then boxed GBA or 64 stuff. And so I hit two other things. I've got one more thing to show, and it's boxed at least. So that's something. So I think I in one way I ticked everything.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as far as like boxed Game Boy
Mm,
stuff goes, that they were definitely there, but they weren't as they weren't like the big hitters, were they? They're like probably as far as like for me
yeah,
personally, like there was boxed Rayman games on Game Boy Advance. They would have been nice, but it was like $95 for Rayman Advance. So I'm like, oh, it'd be cool, but I'm not like a big fan of that game specifically. I'm a big fan of like
mm,
Legends and Origins that came years later. So yeah,
yeah,
there weren't any of the big stuff because like previously you've gotten Metroid, Game Boy Advance games there, Castlevania. Like you've got some like big hitters as far as like big franchises.
like Pokemon Pinball. I got like
Yeah, that was
a
there actually.
immaculate. Yeah, I did see that. I got it a couple of years ago. I got like a Game Boy Tennis and one of the original launch games, I think, the Game Boy, and the box was in great condition. So they're there, but yeah, I agree with you. Like I was probably like you, if I saw an Advance Wars box, we probably would have been competing with each other for one of those. In terms of like any of the Super Mario Advance things that would have maybe tickled my interest, like the pinball on the GBA, Pokemon Pinball, like even a Minish Cap. I would hate to imagine what one of those would cost, but a Minish Cap box would be pretty cool to own.
Oh yeah, I can
Yeah,
remember it so vividly being a kid, being like, before I got my Game Boy Advance SP for Christmas, and I would go like we're in Target, mum's doing her shopping, and I would go to the game section and just read all of the boxes. Like I'll just go there and I'm like I'd recognize it from the magazines I'm reading. Like oh look, this is obviously I spent so much time like looking at the back of the Pokemon boxes, Ruby and Sapphire. And I just remember like being like 30 of each version across like the whole top row. And yeah, and I think back to those days. I'm like, I wish I could just grab grab a couple, just go back in time, little portal, and just reach your hand out at Target and pull one back. I really do.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Same.
yeah,
Just yeah, grab one of each and away you go. Or two of each, you can flip one
yeah,
and keep the other.
yeah. Remember all the Minish caps there, the Pokemon, yeah, Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. Oh,
Mm.
yeah, would have been good. How much did you get your copy of Pokemon Pinball for the other year? Because it was $200 this year. Just be curious to
Yeah, I paid
compare them.
120 for it, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I got a really good deal for mine. The guy was selling his stuff to go to Brisbane, and so he needed to get rid of things. And I just like I was just speaking to him about gaming and things he was interested in, and so um, it was just one of those times where we just like I was just genuinely interested to know his story with it all and what he liked. It was just a really like fun conversation, and he decides to like slash the price for the game for me, and so I think it was listed as like 160 or something, and just gave it to me for a big discount. So yeah, and then I see them listed in inbox elsewhere, and they're like $200 plus. So yeah, worth a fair bit of money. The one I got's in immaculate condition, like it's like it looks like a brand new game, and I think the one I saw yesterday was in pretty good nick too. So yeah, just yes, some of those games if you look after the boxes straight away, or don't do anything silly with them. They still look really good. Like no sun damage, like no creases. Like some of them look like like the day they were bought off the store shelf from Kmart or Big W or wherever you picked them up from.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, they must have just gone straight into
Mm,
a container and stored. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
mm,
like even I
probably.
guess
Yeah,
even me who like I guess looked after it. It's like you still get some wear and tear just from moving on the shelf and being put here and there and being read and touched. But yeah, no, that's cool. I was kind of tempted
mm,
actually by the Pokemon pinball. I'm like, oh, it'd be kind of cool, but
yeah.
yeah,
It's a great box art as well. Yeah,
it
it's
is
a
cool.
bigger box as well, and so your new acrylic ones would have fit nicely in it as well.
Ooh, yeah, it would have looked good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll think about it. I'll end up buying it at 300
Next
next
time when
year.
you come back, because you come for both
Yeah,
weekends. Be fine. It'll be fine.
yeah. Well, I should just get you to I should just send some cash your way, and I was like, if you see this or that, pick it up for me. I could just do that too. You
Yeah,
just be
yeah,
my
yep,
you could be my inside man. Like I'm really looking for this. If you
yep. So,
see it, get it.
yeah, tell me what you want. Set a limit in terms of what you pay for it, and yeah, I'll do it for you. Done.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. I just thought of it then. That'd be very good. It wouldn't have worked this time because it would have been a bit tough. I might just fill up a bag, Josh, and give me a lucky dip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Don't give me a list of 20 things to get, but like a five I can manage. I
no.
reckon your top five
Yeah.
things. I'll look out for that.
Uh, I guess as far as like my Nintendo things go, I guess I'll wrap it up with this little category of things, which is I'm going to call Nintendo GameCube. So yeah, picked up some GameCube stuff,
Oh,
and I got to say the negative for this weekend, Josh, was just looking at the GameCube games. And look,
yeah,
I knew this, but seeing it in person, holding the cases, just how expensive GameCube games are, it's sad. Like I'm holding a platinum copy of
yeah,
Animal Crossing on GameCube. I'm like, that'd be nice to get. It's platinum. Like it's not really even that desirable being platinum, to be honest with you. I try and stay away from the greatest
hey,
hits and all that,
player's
no matter
choice.
what. Yeah,
Yep,
all of that stuff. But man, $180 for Animal Crossing on
it's a
GameCube. And
lot.
that's a
It
cheap
really
game.
is a lot.
As far as a Nintendo game goes on the platform, that's cheap. Um, and like ones I'd really want, which is like XD Gale of Darkness, like the Pokemon game, not going to happen. That's a $500 game. It wasn't that long ago. It was a
Yeah,
$400 game. That game is just going up and up in value, which is something else. So
not going down anytime soon.
yeah, when I came across the that Japanese vendor where I got the 64 games, I saw some GameCube games in there. And I actually have a Japanese GameCube. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like, it'd be a cool little thing to pair with it. And just for those that don't know, GameCube games in Japan, they look a lot different to what we get here in Australia or the US or UK or any, I guess, Western countries. In Japan, it comes in like a very like small little cute little case, kind of similar to like the size of a Switch case. It's see through, and you actually get like a paper cover that slips over the game. So yeah, they're very different, very
Love 'em.
cute, very small. And I picked up two games. I got Mario Kart Double Dash, which I thought would be fine to play in Japanese if I ever want to play it, as far from the disc. And a game that is definitely not okay to play in Japanese is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. That I will not play this in Japanese. That'll be a miserable
Don't bother.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah, no way. But they're $40 each instead of I don't know, fucking. I saw Wind Waker actually there for $100, but it was gross. Like it was, it wasn't like desirable for me to buy it. Not that I probably would have
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, they were nice to pick up just to sort of have I
Mm.
guess some of my favorite games on the platform just for a sort not too bad a price. And I've got the hardware to play it, so kind of cool to pick up.
Yeah.
One of my
They're
actually,
great.
it would be my biggest purchase from the event. I actually got a Wavebird GameCube controller, the wireless controller for the GameCube, and I ended up I spent a lot of money on this. I spent $200 on it, but I wanted to be able to play GameCube games on the Wii and GameCube just wirelessly. So I thought, you know what, it's just time to dive in and
With the receiver as well. So that's
yeah,
where
with the
it's
receiver.
expensive, isn't it?
So yeah, I'm happy with the pickup. It's a nice clean controller. The sticks and everything feel great. Yeah. The only thing is there's like a bit of a deep scratch on the top, which I only noticed like afterwards, which is a little bit disappointing.
Mm.
But it feels great. It's like it feels pretty new, really, compared as far as everything goes, apart from just that scratch.
Yeah, it's
But
in good
yeah,
condition except for that scratch. That's like it's really good condition, and it feels really nice to hold.
yeah, because the main thing I look at when I'm like, especially like GameCube controllers, like the stick, they seem to wear out. Like they've all got a lot of wear on them. I guess they're over 20 years old at this point. So if somebody actually used it, it's going to be a lot of time to have put wear on the stick.
Yeah.
So this looks really good.
That's right.
So happy to pick that up, and I picked up another GameCube.
Yeah.
I picked up an Indigo GameCube, because I was walking past and it looked like the outside looked really good. It was in good condition. The inside looks quite dusty, so I will have to open it up and dust it out. But I'm wanting to get all the GameCube colors. So I've got the spice orange one, a black one, and so I picked up the Indigo one. I just got to get a silver one day, but. This was probably one of the purchases where it's like, do I really need it? I really don't. Like, I really don't need this one. Like, obviously, all these games and stuff, like, you don't need them. But that was one where it's like, yeah, why not? I'm here. I might as well buy some stuff. So yeah, no, I'm quite happy with it. And
You're not coming here again for another 6 months, so you might as well.
6 months. No, we just talked about this, Josh. You're my.
You know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're just trying to tease me. Look, we've got bullies everywhere. You're gonna be bullying me for the next 6 months to go. I got Wacko Jacko bullying me about Splatoon. I can't escape, mate. Can't escape.
Yeah, that's right. You'll just be there in 6 months. I just know you will. That's all. And I look forward to being there with you. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
No,
Thank God for that.
No pressure or anything.
But yeah, so yeah, picked up a fair bit of GameCube stuff. If the market wasn't so goddamn expensive for GameCube, I would love to actually get a lot of the games that I would actually love to play, but it's just too expensive. I've been priced out. I'm too late. I should have been smart like Josh and targeted it, years ago at this point. What games did you pick up actually? Like, say, when you decided to fill out your GameCube collection, what games did you get that you didn't have as like a kid?
Ooh.
What were the titles you had to get?
Yeah. Let me just talk for 10 seconds while I move my amiibo so I can look at the actual collection.
Okay. Yeah, because for me, I should have jumped on it a long time ago, but I remember GameCube games always being expensive. Even early Wii, I remember looking at a copy of Mario Kart Double Dash for $50 in like a cash converters or something, and thinking it was expensive back then. Like I remember GameCube games always being expensive, but now it's at the point where I guess even as an adult with disposable income and like that, it's too expensive for that. So frustrating. But anyway, Josh,
Yeah.
you had a bit of a squiz.
Mm. Yeah. So I had a GameCube growing up, and so we naturally bought games and filled it out. But like about 7, 8 years ago, I reckon I started to properly like, no, I want to like buy some more ones that I didn't have. Sorry, so I've got about 20 games in total, which isn't a lot, but it's got all the ones I want to have. So like Wave Race, Blue Storm, Wario World, um, the original WarioWare. I didn't have that when I was growing up, so I bought that one. Um, Games like Star Fox Assault, I played as a kid but never owned, so I bought that. I always owned Gale of Darkness, so that wasn't an issue. Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, I bought that for like $70 about 8 years ago. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes was about a $50 game I bought a few years ago. And then Mario Party 6 and 4, we did not have growing up. We just had 5. And so I picked those up later on, I think. I think they're the ones I've added. F-Zero GX. I never owned F-Zero GX growing up, and so that was a really fun one to pick up as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm very jealous of the
And Donkey
foresight you
Konga.
had.
I need the bongos.
Yeah, I reckon I will get the bongos. I actually want to get them because I actually want to play the game with them. I don't need them immaculate or in box or
Yeah.
anything like that. But yeah, it would be cool to get. I'd like to give it a go because I got the Wii versions,
Yeah,
but
I just want them now.
Yeah, I can see that waggling the Wiimote just will not give the the same feeling as actually smacking the drum.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need
So yeah,
Doshin the Giants, the GameCube one I really want to get. That's the last one for me.
I wonder how much that is now. That's probably an expensive one too. Like only available in
I should have
PAL.
bought it. I had a chance to buy it 60 years ago. Yeah, $60 I reckon I could have bought it for about 8 years ago. It must be at least double that now.
Was it released in Australia?
No, it was just Europe, I believe.
Just Europe, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think so.
Yeah.
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 And then Chibi Robo would be good, but that's never gonna that's such an expensive game.
Yeah, no. Train's left the station, mate. I feel like one day I do want to get I do want to get a good copy of XD Gale of Darkness, but I can never justify spending that much money on a game. I really can't.
Yeah. Oh wow, these are expensive, man. They're $220 is the cheapest one I can see for Doshin the
Chibi
Giant.
Robo.
Wow.
Oh, Dosh, yeah. Yeah.
Of a Doshin. So I could have bought it for $60 8 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah. Because it's probably one of the most famous games that didn't come out in the US. Because everybody sort of like mentions it when it comes to like exclusive region locked games out of the US. That's always the one that comes up. So for a collector, it was like, yeah, look, I want to try that, game that never came out here. It's probably why it's gone up. It's like so desirable because it's kind of famous just for that reason. But
yeah, that's jumped up a lot. Man, that's crazy.
Man.
Unreal.
Anyway.
Unreal. Yeah.
Oh
well.
Just quickly, I've got 2 more things to go over. I just got some Game Boy loose carts. So I got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team on Game Boy Advance. Got this like at the very, very end of the day. And then I actually got like a homebrew game from, local in Adelaide, Game Boy Games. And I got a game called Bonesy on I guess original Game Boy. This is like um homebrew designed Game Boy game, which is actually like a really cool idea. You had Mike on your podcast a year or so ago, Josh, and that's where I first found out
Mm.
about Mike and what he does with his Game Boy games. Just really fascinating how he sort of got into it, and just the whole sort of, I guess, indie homebrew scene with making like original Game Boy games and getting them playable on original hardware. It's really cool. So come across his stall and
Yeah.
see what the game's about. So he had a couple of games, and this one's got like a Jack Russell on the front. So like, yes, it's like one of my
Mm.
favorite animal, pretty much that dog. So it'd be cool to give it a go. I
Yeah.
got no idea what it's
Yeah.
really about. You're right, dude. You go.
Sorry. Yeah. I just think it's such a cool thing. Just GB Studio is the tool that they use to make Game Boy games, and so they'll like literally make the software, make the game, and put it onto an actual um, Game Boy cartridge. And that's how people are bringing these older consoles a new lease of life. And um, I just think it's such a cool thing to play new games on old hardware. And so yeah, Mike Towns, a local from Adelaide, just has made a few games, and Bonesy's one of them. Yeah, just very very fun, cool thing that I think anyone can do. Anyone can use GB Studio and play around with it and make games, and it's somewhat intuitive, I believe. And so, um, yeah, if you're ever interested, that's and you're not a game developer, that's one way you could sort of dabble into it and see what you think about it.
Yeah, I just read the back of the slip here, describing the game, like little summary. It sounds heartbreaking. I'll read it
Yeah.
out. Bonesy, aka Farewell, the story of making a friend and eventually having to say goodbye. Bonesy is a short, almost coming of age tale. Follows a young girl becoming a dog owner and the trials they both face while growing up together. Jesus Christ, that's gonna hit hard.
Yes,
This game, holy shit.
it will. It will. Yes.
Have you played it?
I do not have that one. I have his maze game that he's got, and then he's also made a floppy game, which is someone from the Hack the Dino podcast. But I don't have Bonesy. I should add that one as well to my collection.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, this is Jesus Christ. I'm gonna be hunched over the Game Boy, sobbing my eyes out with this one. Even just reading that makes me a bit emotional. Jesus. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Mike.
yeah. I had one last thing I bought.
Hmm?
So I've got I missed this during the pandemic. So I played Animal Crossing like everyone else during the pandemic, but this game by Nintendo
Oh,
released
that's right.
late 2019. And I again they were amazing with their timing. They had the right game at the right time because people had their cozy Animal Crossing to play, but then people couldn't leave their homes during COVID. And so exercising or just being outside and running around just wasn't an option. And so Ring Fit Adventure was always one of those games that sold like hotcakes during that 3 year period. I never picked it up. I just, our setup for the Switch just was not, um, we didn't have enough space for it. It just wouldn't work well. And so, but now I saw this. This is a used copy. It's like $50. I think brand new these cost like $120. And so I figured, why not give it a go? We have lots of space. We've got hard timber floors to jump around on, and it's not going to make things wobble as I play with it. And I thought I'll give it a go, see what all the fuss is about, and what people really liked about Ring Fit Adventure because um, massive hit. I don't think Nintendo ever expected it to sell. Um, I think it's like close to 15 million, if not 15 million. It was in the top 10 of Nintendo's top 10 selling Switch games for a long time there. And it wouldn't surprise me if a sequel's on the way. So I'm going to play this one just to see what it's all about before that happens.
It is crazy just how well it sold.
Mm.
It was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of benefited benefited just like Animal Crossing did, just with the pandemic. You want some interactive exercise in your lounge room? That's it. You're not gonna really get it anywhere else
with that ring con.
Yeah, like there's nothing like that on PlayStation or Xbox or really any other Switch game. There is that fitness boxing. That's like an alternative. And but as far as like fitness based video gaming goes, that's that was your option. So you haven't bust a sweat from it yet. It's still in the box. I expect to see it out with a headband, and you can just sweat in front of your TV.
I will play it before next episode. I will play it before next episode. I promised you, and then I say that, Drew, and I'm going to do it. So
I was about to say that's what we all say.
I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna play it. I'm keen to try it out. So I will. It's a long weekend this weekend because Thursday's Anzac Day for us in Australia, but I've taken the Friday off, as I think a lot of people have, who get the privilege to take time off, and so I've got a 4-day weekend coming up. So one of those days I'll be playing Ring Fit Adventure at least.
Oh, beautiful. All day. You'd be just pumping it all day, like
bloody beautiful.
Oh, bloody beautiful, man. I'm gonna get to the boss and I'm gonna
squeeze in the ring
beat him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I can see that really puffing me up real quick. So it makes me a little nervous. One of those, those fitness bands where you're like, I can see that. Actually, being pretty fun.
I hope it's not too manky. It's a used one, so obviously someone's used it. I hope it's not too manky. I haven't properly looked through the leg strap and the ring con and the grips, but we'll see.
Just a big layer of dead skin.
It's always a risk, eh?
Hopefully it's someone who bought it.
Sweat and
Hopefully somebody bought it with good intentions and they never used it.
Tried it once for 10 minutes, decided that will do me. This is not the game for me, and unsold it. I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, hopefully. But that pretty much does it. I have a lot more purchases. I've got pretty much the rest of the bag. My little carry blue bag is you can't see on the camera. It's just full of like Xbox games, original Xbox and 360 games, and one PS2 game, which was Kingdom Hearts. Like I said, there really wasn't many PS2 games there that I was hoping to get. I was hoping to get like the God of Wars, Killzone, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, but I really didn't find any. The only one that I found that I would have been interested in getting was what's his name? The raccoon guy. Completely forgot. Sly Cooper. I wanted to get Sly Cooper, but it was $70. I don't know if that's an expensive game on PlayStation 2, the original Sly Cooper, but I guess it is. So I only came away with one PS2 game, but I probably got a lot of 360 and Xbox games. So pretty cool stuff. But
you nearly bought a Dreamcast as well. You thought about it, and then it disappeared when you came back around.
Yeah, it disappeared, but they put another one out, which was cheaper, but it had a bit of a pretty nasty mark on the top. But that was my first time ever actually physically touching a Dreamcast. Like at the end where I picked it up. First time I've ever touched one. And I got to say, they're a lot heavier than I thought it would be. It's a lot heavier. I thought it would feel like a Super Nintendo.
There's a lot in it.
Like pretty light and like plasticky. But no, Dreamcast was like heavy and solid. I'm like pretty impressed. I think when it comes to the Dreamcast, I'm probably going to buy it with the SD card reader already in it, so I can just put games onto an SD card. Because Dreamcast, that's a bit too expensive as well, as far as getting a collection of those go. Probably just spend a bit of extra on their Dreamcast itself.
Dreamcast ones.
Yeah, but like stuff like Sonic Adventure, that's like 120. Crazy Taxi, that's an expensive game on Dreamcast, but it's like real cheap on GameCube and PS2 and Xbox. But it's one of those consoles where like I've never seen one in my life. I've never known anybody in my life who's owned a Dreamcast. Literally, this weekend was the first time ever getting the touch one. First time I got to pick up the controller too.
Cool, at least.
The controller feels awful. It feels awful.
It's bulky. bulky, isn't it? It's
like,
weird.
yeah, the stick's in the wrong place and it's long. It's just, yeah, the buttons feel like they're in the wrong place. Yeah, and it's a weird controller, but I'll be keen just to,
Yeah.
There are alternatives. Retro Fighters do Nintendo 64 controllers, GameCube controllers, and they do Dreamcast controllers as well. So if I never sort of adjust to it, I guess there's that option for like that authentic sort of more modern take on the Dreamcast. But it'll be another day. I've spent my money. I've got some things to sell now. I've still got to get rid of that Horizon Forbidden West Collector's Edition. I'll get rid of some other stuff when I'm cleaning out this room here and see how we go. I could have just taken this Pokemon Emerald and I could have like doubled my money. Imagine like walking around there with one of these. Like, who wants to trade for this? Imagine the interest there. Like, yeah, a boxed Pokemon Emerald at a place like that.
You would have had a lot less issues trading that than your Horizon Collector's Edition. I tell you that.
Like,
yeah.
I just want to say to the listeners, if you ever sort of hear that I've sold my Pokemon Emerald, you'll know that something is wrong. Something's wrong. Drew needs to raise some funds.
Just check in on Drew when that happens. Yeah, something's happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jump on the Patreon and help out, you know, if that happens. Oh, dear.
Times have gone rough. Yeah, tough times.
Yep, tough times. But, Josh, I reckon that brings us to the end of the show. Again, had a lot of fun with you this weekend. Wallet's empty, but the heart is full. And so is my bag. So, good times, good times. Anything else you'd like to touch on before we get out of here?
Yeah, same for me with you, Drew. Just awesome just to hang out with you yesterday, walk around, and finally get to show you the place. Because I love this event every 6 months, and so it's always a big one in the calendar. Meet up with a few of the other podcast guys, other friends I made through gaming or other previous things. There's like a bit of a cosplay crossover at this place as well, so it's a social thing as well on top of the things you want to buy for and collect. But everyone's got a thing they're looking for, and so that's always fun to sort of help each other out, message each other, point things out when you see them. But I had a great time, and always looking forward to the next one. Even if you're not there or not, I'll look out for something for you. I'll help you out still.
Yeah, get me something nice, something good, you know.
I will. I'll look after you. Yeah, because I like you, and you're all right.
So whatever you're after at the event, I want one too. Double it. I want a boxed.
Double it.
Actually, no. Yeah, I want a Pokemon Gale of Darkness. Want one of them, and I want it under $200.
Oh man,
that'd be nice. Can you use your your skills to get that?
I'd have to steal it, I reckon. I think that's the only thing. I haven't even seen one of those in the wild at at the toy fair. So it'd just be cool to see one for sale at least, and just see the asking price on it.
What condition's yours in? I'll give you $400.
Oh, it's good, decent. It's not amazing. It's had its wear and tear. I wouldn't call it immaculate, but it's not bad. It's fine.
It's been loved. From childhood with
loved.
Josh to adult
correct.
Josh.
Josh, when he bought it for $100, didn't expect it to be worth the $500 that it is now. Absolutely no way.
No.
Absolutely no way. Yep.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to the show. You can find me at Odruby. And you can find Josh at Nintendvania, and be sure to check out his podcast as well, Nintendvania. Every fortnight, he does a Nintendo podcast, has a new guest on, talk about the news and a bunch of interesting topics. Last episode, he had Barry Carenza on to talk about Nintendo peripherals, which is very interesting, especially hearing from Barry, who's very knowledgeable. And Josh is very much in in the mindset I was. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's something I'm not old enough to have used that, so that's cool.
I learned a lot from Barry because he lived through it a bit and owns a lot of them. So he was a perfect guest for that tier list we did. So yeah, check it out if anyone's interested. That's the latest episode.
Absolutely. But until then, guys, the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. Bang. I'll catch you later.